looking forward to the future, I kept thinking about the economic policy that, to me, again, the House flipping to Republican hands for only the third time since 1959. That's pretty historic. We're having a red wave goodbye to Nancy Pelosi. Economically speaking, do you think there's anything that the Democrats could sign off on to actually stop with inflation, to help increase domestic oil production, to stop the regulation that's been going on? There was an estimate by a conservative think tank that showed that the Joe Biden administration has put forth more regulations in just 1 year than all 8 years of the Biden administration, or of the Trump administration, or 4 years of the Trump administration. It seems to me that if you just want to put the interests of the American people, ahead of your ideology, why wouldn't you do something like that? Why wouldn't you try to deregulate? Why wouldn't you want to put, stop this ridiculous student loan thing that is really class warfare on the backs of working class taxpayers, making them subsidize rich people, making up to $300,000 a year a couple. Do you think there's anything in the economic agenda that Democrats could work with Republicans on?
Well, yes. And by the way, I do think if you look a lot of times when you have divided government, that's when a lot more gets done. Now, that's been in the past. The problem is that things have become so polarized now, it's hard to meet. I've said before, there are a couple of no-brainer issues. I don't understand why, and that's why, even though the Inflation Reduction Act was a misnomer in many ways, the good thing about it was it took the right approach to climate change, and that is, let's go full speed ahead on alternatives, but let's also keep going full speed, or at least more speed, on fossil fuels. Because the bottom line is, Carrie, for the next 15 or 20 years, we're going to be getting 80% of our energy from fossil fuels. Nothing is going to change that. And we have the energy independence and the security that we didn't have before. That's why the dollar hasn't gotten hammered the way it has during past inflationary periods, because we don't have the hydrocarbon vulnerability that we had in the past. So yes, I think we should be drilling more. And I also think that, in fact, and Donald Trump would have agreed to this if it hadn't been for that white nationalist, Stephen Miller, who said, "Oh no, Mr. President," and that is increase border security in exchange for amnesty for the Dreamers. That's such a no-brainer. 80% of the country supports that. Why can't we do that? It's easy, okay? So yes, there are things that can be done. So I think that you will see that. And I think that I think Biden's going to realize that particularly when he looks at the Senate map in 24, which let's be honest, is a lot worse for the Dems than this one, that he's going to have to get some stuff done. So I'm actually cautiously optimistic that you'll see some stuff done on energy. You may see some stuff done on immigration. My real worry, and one of my things, which again, you sadly don't seem to agree with, is that the debt ceiling cannot be used as a leverage. That's something that could literally crash global markets and destroy the credit of the United States. So I'm hoping that will be off the table, because remember, the debt limit was raised 3 times under Donald Trump, no complaints, and then he put more red ink on the books than anybody. So the fact that they're talking about using it is despicable, and I'm hoping that's not going to happen. So as long as that doesn't happen, I think we can I think some stuff will get done, because I think Biden is, when push comes to shove, a pragmatist. He's been pulled way to the right to the left by his party, but I think he does want to make deals. That's what he's done his entire career.
We shall see.
We shall see. Well, again, a very interesting midterm. Now the question is, soon I'm sure the contenders for 24 will be announcing, and we will be keeping ourselves very attuned to what's going on. So thanks for joining us for another episode of Practically Political. I'm Dave Spencer.
And I'm Carrie Sheffield, and we'll catch you next time.